Hello and welcome to the Rainy Night Listens podcast. I'm Hailey.
And I'm Wyatt, and this is the podcast that you save for a rainy night instead of a rainy day.
Alrighty, today we are going to be talking about the disappearance of Daniel Robinson. This is actually a pretty recent disappearance that took place in 2021.
Oh.
So it's still an active case that's going on because they've never found him. So, with that topic, we are going to start with Hagen's historical word of the day.
Hagen, Hagen, Hagen,
Hagen. Does. Daniel Cornelius Robinson was born on January 14th, 1997, in Columbia, South Carolina, to David and Melissa Robinson. He had 3 sisters and 1 brother, and they were all very close growing up. When Daniel was born, he was missing the lower portion of his right arm, but according to those who he was close to, he never let this slow him down. He actively participated in sports, enjoyed traveling, and loved the outdoors. In 2019, Daniel graduated from the College of Charleston with a Bachelor's of Geology. He was soon hired by a company out of Arizona, and he moved to Tempe to begin his work as a geologist. The position he worked was required to oversee remote desert work sites, so he regularly traveled to different areas to hike around and study the different rock formations. On June 23rd, 2021, Daniel went to a work site located just north of Buckeye, Arizona. There was another man on site named Kenneth who worked for a different company. Kenneth stated that this was the first time he had met Daniel, and he believed Daniel was acting a little strange that morning. He stated that it seemed as though Daniel would just randomly stare off into the distance and then kept asking him if he wanted to go home or if he wanted to go back to Phoenix.
Oh no. I'm kind of scared of where this is going.
Yeah. He said it had looked as though it was getting ready to rain, and so he had pulled out his phone to check his weather app. And while he did this, he thought he saw Daniel wave to him, and he claims that whenever he looked up, Daniel was getting into his Jeep and he drove away. And Kenneth stated that this took place at around 9:45 in the morning. After Daniel left, Kenneth called his boss to let him know that Daniel had taken off. He stated that he didn't hear anything else about Daniel until later that day when his boss called him back and informed him that no one had heard from or seen Daniel since that morning. Kenneth states that after hearing that Daniel was missing, he drove out the same direction he had seen Daniel go, and he came to a split in the road where he saw fresh tire tracks going the opposite direction of where they should have been going if they were going back to town. So where the road splits, as he was coming out, if he would have turned left so that he was heading east, he would have hit like a main road that would have taken him back down to Buckeye. But instead he turned right, so he was heading west, which just goes out to that huge open desert area that's out there.
Gotcha.
He said he went and kind of followed the tracks a little bit and went up to like a high ground area to scan the desert, but he couldn't see any sign of Daniel, so he ended up taking off. David Robinson, Daniel's father, filed a missing persons report with the Buckeye Police Department at around 7 p.m. that night after not hearing from Daniel all day and after he had been informed that Daniel had left work early. Officers were dispatched and they began contacting family members and Daniel's employer in an attempt to locate him. His sister had gone to his apartment, but didn't get an answer whenever she knocked at the door and said that his Jeep wasn't there. And while this was going on, the officers were attempting to contact Daniel directly by calling him, but no one got a response. The officers then went out to the desert where they believed Daniel had gone and began their search. They were not successful in their attempts to locate him that night. On June 24th, the following day, police began doing a large search around the job site area, and they also attempted to locate Daniel's Jeep location using a system that was installed on the Jeep, but they couldn't get any GPS information from it. They also attempted to ping Daniel's cell phone, but they were able to get it to ping, but it wasn't enough information to provide them with any GPS location either.
Huh.
They were, however, able to see that no calls or texts had been made from his phone since he had gone missing the morning prior.
Yeah, because I think it's what a call has to be picked up. Like if they tried calling him, if he doesn't pick up, they can't track it, right?
Right. And so if he had, like, if his phone had been used within, like, a certain, like, they'll kind of, like, use different cell towers to kind of
Hmm.
triangulate where
Yeah.
it was coming from, but because no calls or texts had been going out, they weren't able to really get any information off of it. And so they weren't able to get like an estimated location of where his cell phone at least would have been.
Gotcha.
On June 25th, a helicopter was brought in to aid in the search for Daniel, and police continued their ground search. At some point during these searches, police received the phone records with texts that Daniel had sent to a girl he was interested in at the time that seemed to say that she would never see him again. And this was after she had texted him asking him to leave her alone.
Oh.
But during all the conversations with his close family and friends, they were all asked if he had seemed as though he was intending to harm himself or if he had ever been suicidal.
Hmm.
And all of them said that they had never believed that he would harm himself in that kind of way. But multiple people, including his family members and friends, said that in the days leading up to his disappearance, he had seemed off.
Gotcha. So this was premeditated, it seems.
That's
That's the theory, at least.
that's one of them, yeah. Officers were also told by Daniel's family that it had actually looked like photos had been removed from his Instagram account, which they had found as odd.
I mean, probably can't tell which one specifically, but like,
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like it would kind of make a difference if they knew which ones it was. I'm sure his family knew which ones got removed, but I don't know.
yeah.
That's kind of random.
Well, and
But
like later, whenever they were able to pull his search history, one of the things he had been searching was how to fully delete an Instagram account.
oh,
And so,
he was kind of just starting that process, I guess.
yeah,
Huh.
but still kind of odd that just different, like a few select photos were deleted out
Yeah.
of all of them. The search continued, but no sign of Daniel was found. On July 6th, a report came in from someone who claimed that there was a man working at a Circle K that fit the description of Daniel. And so the officers followed up. And while there was a man working there who was the same race and was missing a portion of their arm as well, it was quickly determined that it was not Daniel.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What are the chances of that?
Right?
I guess, how far away was the Circle K from the location he was last seen?
I don't think it was too far. Like it would have been in like one of the surrounding towns right there, which
Wow.
Phoenix is right there. So like there's like a big
Yeah, a
city right
really
there.
big city right next to it.
But
That's still crazy. I mean, what are the chances of that?
yeah, kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Another tip had come in saying that Daniel was checked into a mental and behavioral health clinic, but upon looking into it, officers found that he was never there. And so they went through and did another sweep of all of the hospitals and clinics in the area just to see if
Yeah.
maybe he had been checked into one, but they did not locate him.
Huh.
On July 19th, so almost a month after he disappeared, a local rancher contacted police when he discovered a Jeep on his property. He provided the license plate number, and it was a match to Daniel's license plate. The rancher informed officers there was no one in or near the immediate area of the vehicle. Officers went to the scene and saw Daniel's Jeep was in a 20-foot ravine and had sustained major damage. According to the police report, it looked as though the front end had hit the ground first and then the vehicle had rolled once.
Yeah, how you said it seems like the front of the vehicle took the hit first. Yeah, it probably makes you wonder if he was in the vehicle when it happened or if he kind of just bailed out. But I mean, I don't know because if he wanted to disappear, then it would be kind of I could see him purposefully crashing his car without injuring himself. Or I imagine, you know what? If you want
Yeah,
to disappear, your car gets trashed. It immediately makes people think, oh, he might have died
yeah.
or is injured. But if I don't know, I guess you haven't finished this part, so I should probably just wait before I
Oh,
say.
no, you're
But
good because that is.
because like, was there blood in the car? Did they?
So there was not.
There was not blood in the car.
No. There wasn't blood in the vehicle, there wasn't blood around the vehicle, but it had also been raining pretty heavily over the last month, though. And so they think maybe the
Maybe
rain had
could have
kind of
washed it
washed
out.
everything because that's one thing that like the rancher points out that he didn't think that the vehicle had been there for a month because he said that his cattle would have found it and that like the outside of it is super clean, like it's not dusty, it's not anything,
Yeah,
like it's super clean. And so he thinks,
it had to be pretty recent.
yeah, the glass on the driver's side window and the windshield had shattered and all of the interior airbags had deployed. Outside of the vehicle, Daniel's pants, shirt, work vest, and socks were found turned inside out, and his work boots were also on the ground. So in this picture, you can see like his orange work shirt,
Oh
his
yeah.
pants,
Nope.
everything. Like all of his clothing were inside out on the ground and like right there.
So it seems
And
very possible he was in the car then,
yeah.
or he walked up to it when it crashed and just threw his clothes off. Or I mean, for all we know, he had just another pair of clothes. I mean, another change that he changed into, dropped off his. I don't know. It just
It's weird.
if it's premeditated, it can you can kind of try to put something together. But if he just decided one day to just head out, then it's kind of like what's going on.
Yeah. Well, in his pants, they found his wallet, and inside of the vehicle, they found his cell phone, his work bag that had his work laptop in it, and his hard hat. And his hard hat, I guess, was like on the top of the hat
Yeah.
and was like completely full of rainwater
Oh.
inside of the vehicle. And so, but it was still very odd that there was no blood anywhere,
Yeah.
like in the vehicle at all, even though it had like, I don't know, it doesn't make sense that there wouldn't be, even like a speck of it somewhere, especially
Yeah.
after an accident like that where all the airbags deployed.
Well, yeah. I guess the airbags throw a whole nother wrench in that. Because I was gonna say, I mean, it looks like the car didn't cave at
Yeah.
all. Like I don't know. From the looks of it, it definitely looks like if he was in it when it happened, he definitely survived it.
Yeah.
And that, but I don't. This one's confusing.
Yeah. I feel like his pile of clothing throws me off.
Yeah, because I don't imagine. Okay, he was. I feel like he was definitely going through it mentally.
Yeah.
Just from the
Like was just
context
having a
clues we were
hard
given, he was
time.
having a really hard time, and I don't know if he. I don't know. I don't want to say anything and sound rude or like guess like what. I don't want to say anything that will come off wrong. But if I do, just know it's not my intention. I just
Mhm.
trying to think of what could have happened. I don't know. I'm hoping he just had a change of clothes and left clothes that could link him back. Like
Yeah.
he's trying to forget his past and start new,
Yeah.
and that he just bought like a new change of clothes and threw his on the ground or something.
Yeah. They searched the area and they did find some tracks that were a little ways away from the vehicle, but they were also washed out from the rain that they couldn't really identify like definitively if they had belonged to him or where they were going.
Now, here's the question. If they found tracks, would they be able to tell if they were bare feet tracks or shoe tracks?
Nothing that I saw in the police report stated specifically if they were barefoot or not.
Because you said his shoes was part of the pile of clothes,
Yeah,
right?
his work boots were found there as well.
Okay. 'Cause it just
But
makes me
yeah,
wonder
they were
if,
so washed out from the rain that they couldn't really tell anything.
aside from just impressions in the dirt, I guess, or
Yeah.
something. Huh. I feel like that would have helped a lot if they knew if they could tell if he was just in his socks or not,
Yeah.
or barefooted.
They also found where it looked like the Jeep had run over bushes on the way down to the crash site. And they also stated that the Jeep was still in drive whenever it was found.
Oh, so it just makes me wonder if if he left it, if it crashed and was left running and then eventually ran itself out of gas and shut off,
Yeah.
or if it just was shut off still in drive.
Well,
Because I feel like those would make those paint two very different pictures.
yeah. Well, the interesting thing is so on July 21st, crash information was received from the Jeep's computer that showed that the vehicle was going about 30 miles an hour whenever it crashed and the airbags had deployed. They had also learned that the seatbelt was in use at the time of the crash and that the start button had cycled over 40 times after the crash had occurred, which could have been from it being pushed like the vehicle was trying to be started,
Yeah,
or it could have been an electrical thing that had happened after
and it was
the
just
car
giving the
crashed,
signs of,
but it had cycled over 40 times
huh,
after the car had crashed.
okay. So it definitely seems that he was in the vehicle. I don't know. I just wanted in my heart that he wasn't in it when it crashed, and that
Yeah,
he was just trying to make it look like he was.
that's I so I feel like there are a few theories as to what happened. One of them is that it was kind of pre-planned
Yeah.
to kind of escape and either escape in the way of ending one's life or escape in the way of just staging something to kind of go off and start life anew.
Yeah.
Um Another theory that people have is that the car crash was accidental.
Hmm.
Um, and then once the car crash had occurred, if all the airbags deployed, if the vehicle rolled, all of that, even if he was wearing a seatbelt, he could have hit his head on something. So maybe he
He had
was
a
just
concussion.
disoriented and like confused. And so upon leaving the vehicle, started stripping clothing off. Like you never know what you're gonna do whenever you're sustain a possible head injury,
Yeah.
and then just wandered off into the desert and succumb to the elements somewhere because he's never been found. Like,
Yeah.
no trace of him outside of this has ever been found. And there have been tons of searches that have been done. Like, his dad and his siblings still have the website going. Like, they have it on their website that they need so many calls to be made to like the police station every
To keep the investigation going.
yeah, to keep it as like an active investigation.
Mm.
And so it's still going on. Like, we just passed the 5-year mark
Wow.
since he disappeared because he disappeared on June 23rd of 2021 and today is
Yeah, that's within just barely
yeah, today's June 29th, 2026.
6 days from the 5 years.
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible that he only crashed because it was raining? He's in the desert. Like I don't know. I just want it to be I don't know. Imagine, and this is just a scenario, right?
Mhm.
I'm just trying to put things together. It's like driving through the desert while it's raining. I could fully understand like just mudsliding out of,
Yeah.
because I mean Jeeps are meant to handle that stuff, but anything can happen. I mean it's a desert that, and maybe like you said, maybe he was disoriented, and if he was raining and disorient like a concussion, your brain doesn't go through the processes all the way. So imagine it's raining, you're just soaked to the bone,
Mhm.
and he takes off his clothes because they're soaked, right? Like I
Yeah.
said, I'm just
Well, yeah,
grasping
like
at
if
straws. Like if you're concussed, sometimes you're not thinking straight,
yeah.
and if your first thought is, "Man, I don't want to freeze," you'd take off frozen clothing. I mean, wet clothing, but I don't know. I can't think of. I don't know. It's just a
Yeah.
little. It's a hard one to try to piece together. That's for sure.
Yeah. That's the th- they found cases of like a case of water in his vehicle, but none of the water bottles were drank. Like, they were all still full. None of them had been opened or anything.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it would make sense that if he had suffered some kind of injury that way, that he wouldn't have been thinking clearly to be able to grab water because it is June in the middle of Arizona. And
Yeah.
so
And
it's going to be really freaking hot.
and like you said, his job was he would go from site to site, right? So he would
Yeah.
have. I imagine he would have just had like a bunch of water bottles in his Jeep just for that job alone.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I forget the things I have in my car all the time. Especially if I like the car just crashed.
Yeah.
My first thought isn't what's in the car. My first thought is, man, I think I need to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
The third theory people have is that there was foul play.
Mm.
Um, so the
Are they
police
blaming the
depart.
farmer?
No.
Oh,
No. It just happened on that guy's ranch.
oh,
And
okay.
that
I was
just,
just trying to figure out who would have been.
that's, it's weird because, so the police don't think that foul play
Yeah,
was an option. But the family hired a private investigator who, upon looking at everything, I guess that I guess that whenever he did his own investigation into it, he stated that there was red paint transference on the Jeep. So as though someone with like a red vehicle had hit into the Jeep, which could have caused it to go off or like run off the road like that.
Yeah.
And then people think that with like all of his clothing being perfectly turned inside out
Yeah.
and just thrown in a pile like that, that maybe they took him and disposed of him somewhere because they ran him off the road on accident or purposefully. But
Yeah.
people also grab onto the fact that the rancher doesn't think that the vehicle had been there for a full month. Because if that's the case, then where was he for
A full month.
the majority of the month?
Yeah.
I feel like for me, I feel like I feel like he was going through a hard time and I don't think that the car crash was purposeful, but I think that I don't know what happened to cause it, whether he was like looking down at his phone, whether he was just distracted, like what happened because if he was going that fast off of the side of wherever he was driving, I feel like it had to hopefully have been an accident. And then I feel like once he hit, he became disoriented from a brain injury.
Yeah.
And then I think he is sadly just out there and they haven't found him yet. That's my thought though. Like I don't know, from everything I was like reading and seeing, even from like his family and everything, it didn't sound like he would have just bounced like that. Like it sounds like he was very good at staying in touch with his family and always talking to
Yeah.
them. And so I feel like the idea of him leaving to just start a new life is very hard for me to believe, I guess.
Yeah. Purposely crashing his car.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't know. That's kind of my thought on it.
The hard the hard thing to just won't allow me to make a like a thought, like a full string of like what could have happened, is the fact that he was probably not in a good headspace. Like they said, he
Yeah.
was in a when how old did you say he was? He was
Oh, he would have been 24.
okay.
So he would have been 24 whenever he disappeared.
Yeah. So it's hard when someone's in a spot where they're in their head a lot.
Mhm.
It's really hard to be able to tell what decisions they made or could
Yeah.
make. It's like it's not like you go crazy, but it's just you're one thing I've just you just learn to just never under or overestimate is how someone's brain is going to tell them to do when they're not in a good place, you know.
Yeah.
It can go any direction. So it's like you said, I mean, I don't think he would have like you said dropped everything and just started a new life, especially like this. I But at the same time I can't say for certain that's not what he did,
Yeah.
but I just I don't know. I hope I hope he gets found if if he's just out there
Yeah.
just for closure's sake, but if he is still alive, I hope that he's doing good or at least
Yeah.
better.
I agree. I feel like well, that's sorry, that was the thing I was going to bring up too. While searching for him, they found two sets of remains at different periods of time.
Remains?
Yeah.
Like human remains.
Yeah. Like they solved two missing
Other
persons
co-
cases while searching for him.
okay. I feel like that makes it even worse
Isn't
because
that crazy?
that just means that the desert isn't
Yeah,
explored enough. But it's not something that you can
exactly.
just direct resources at. But for the sake of these cases,
Yeah,
you should be able to. But I get that it's not an option always. That's crazy.
Yeah. And so it's, I don't know. I feel like I agree with you. I hope that they find him preferably alive, but no matter what, I hope that they're able to find him to kind of help at least bring some form of closure to his family
Yeah.
and to at least let them know that he came home, you know.
Yeah.
It's super sad.
Yeah, but it's better to know than to not.
Yeah. Than to just live wondering what
Yeah.
actually happened.
Yep. Well, if if anyone knows anything, if you know anything, whether it ends up to be nothing or not, it is better to contact or to try to reach out, because if it's nothing, then it's nothing. But if it's something and you don't, then you know,
Yeah.
just it's a hard thing to try to do. It's a hurdle to overcome mentally. I get that, but it could be the difference between a family knowing and a family not knowing. So if you know anything, we've got it on screen right here. What was the website called?
So it's called pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and it's run by his family and they can take tips and everything, or you can shoot them a call or a text, or you can get a hold of the Buckeye Police Department because it's still an active case in their system. And so, yeah, if you have any information that may help lead to Daniel being found, definitely don't stay quiet and definitely reach out to the appropriate lines of communication so that his family can be helped.
Yes. And that goes for any case, not just
Yeah.
we've covered quite a few at this point, and even ones that we haven't covered, if anything, like I said, it could be the difference between a family knowing or not knowing. So, oh, this one's I don't know.
It's
It
sad.
is.
But yeah, that is all for us today. Let us know your thoughts and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.